Regina Dominican is on the road to their first state title, but they are going to have to get past All-Stater Candace Parker and the Naperville Central Redhawks. It's semifinal action next on the IHSA television network. Welcome back to Redbird Arena on the campus of Illinois State University. Welcome back. I'm Lisa Prati with the IHSA Television Network. The semifinals continue. The undefeated Naperville Central Redhawks take on the 24-10 Regina Dominican Panthers. It has been a long road for both these teams to get this far, but the big question now is which team will be playing for a third-place title against Belleville-Althoff, and which team will move on to a 2003 state title against Fenwick High School. Well, we'll find out momentarily, but first let's find out how these two teams match up with our announcers Dave Bernhard and Daryl Kipp.
Well, thank you very much, Lisa, and happy you've joined us here for this fourth semifinal ball game. You know, Daryl, we've been seeing the graphics here for the last several minutes. It shows Naperville Central with no losses, Regina Dominican with 10 losses. I'll tell you what right now, don't be fooled by that. This is a much tougher matchup than a lot of people would think.
Well, that's true. Regina's played a tremendous schedule, and they come from the toughest section in the state. I know that firsthand. You know, you got Stevenson, who's won 2 state championships, Loyola, Maine West, Niles West, Glenbrook South, all won state championships. They were all rated throughout the year in Power 5 in the final poll. And then during the season, they played some easy games. They had Marshall from the city, Fenwick twice, Bennett a couple times. They played them in the super sectional, and not only they played Naperville also.
Of course, Naperville Central defeated Regina. That was at the end of November. That was 52-46. So that's how they matched up early in the season. This is the road to normal for Naperville Central. You notice that overtime win, the big one over Neuqua Valley, 72-67. Then following an easy win over Lake Park. Yes, last night it was a 20-point win over Marion Catholic. Candace Parker with 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks. So you'll notice Naperville Central averaging over 60 points per game in the tournament. Now you flip it over to the other side, Regina Dominican, it's a defensive number that you look at, allowing only 34 points per ball game. Of course, Regina had to get through an overtime win over New Trier, and then last night it was a great ball game, a 3-point difference over Trinity to get themselves here to the semifinal ball game. Well, once again, we are privileged here to be able to watch one of the finest players in the nation. That's in the form of 6'3" junior Candace Parker.
Well, she's very good, and one of my keys to the game for Candace, of course, is going to be they have to be physical with her. They have to keep her away from her spots. If they just let her roam wherever she wants to, she's just so fluid, she goes right to the basket and it'll just tear them up.
For Regina Dominican, head coach Jim Russo says Christina Quay is the best small, low-post player in the state.
Christina Quay played for me in AAUs, and she is tough. She's one of my favorite players. She really goes to the basket hard, and she is a tough rebounder, but she can't get in foul trouble, that's for sure.
Well, as we said, these two teams met back in November. They know each other. They've watched each other. How about tonight's keys to the game?
Well, the keys to the game probably for Regina Dominican are they're going to have to be physical with Candace. They're going to have to body her a little bit and not let her go where she wants to go. They're going to have to keep the corners clear. They can't let Rachel Carter go out in the corner. She's deadly from there. Against Dundee Crown, in the Dundee Crown tournament against Fenwick, and again last night she was tough from there. And their guards got all those rebounds, second chance points for Naperville Central, or they get a lot of them. But with Regina, their guards are more physical and they rebound also.
As far as Regina Dominican is concerned, they've got to contain Candace Parker, obviously.
Right, Regina's got to contain her. They need to get Ashley Robinson off on the 3-point shots against their zone, and Regina they just have to account for everyone on that offense.
Let's meet today's starting lineups here in the second semifinal. The winner to face Fenwick, and for that, let's go to our public address announcer here at Redbird Arena, David Coley.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting lineups for our second semifinal game of the day between the Redhawks of Naperville Central High School and the Panthers of Wilmette Regina Dominican High School. For Naperville Central, a 5'8" junior guard, number 3, Rachel Chrissy. For Regina Dominican, a 5'8" senior guard, number 3, Clarice Jones. For Naperville Central, a 5'7" junior guard, number 20, Tiffany Hudson. For Regina Dominican, a 5'8" senior guard, number 11, Ashley Robinson. For Naperville Central, a 6' senior center, number 21, Courtney Peters. For Regina Dominican, a 5'2" junior guard, number 14, Jenny Stoner. For Naperville Central, a 5'8" freshman forward, number 22, Erica Carter. For Regina Dominican, a 5'11" sophomore forward, number 32, Lauren Schober. For Naperville Central, a 6'3" junior forward, number 32, Candace Parker. And for Regina Dominican, a 6' senior center, number 34, Christina Quay. The Naperville Central Redhawks bring a 33-0 record into today's contest and are coached by Andy Nussbaum. He's assisted by Alan Harris, Nick DiGiovanni, Pat Keating, and Jane Mucci. The Regina Dominican Panthers enter today's game with a 24-10 season record and are coached by Jim Russo. He is assisted by Bill Yaculo and Mary Robinson.
Once again, a look at the starting lineups in this ball game. We talk about Parker and Quay, but Daryl, you look at the guard matchup. Clarice Jones, Ashley Robinson, Rachel Chrissy, Tiffany Hudson. That could go a long ways to determining what happens here tonight.
Well, that's going to be true. Jenny Stoner, she's just a ton on defense. She's going to be all over their guard, Tiffany Hudson, and they're really going to have to deal with that. Plus the fact that the other guards have quicker hands and they're more physical than the guards they played against yesterday from Marion.
3 downstate officials in today's ball game here in the second semifinal ball game. You see them right there, Richard Frederick, Roger Nichols, and Todd Salin. They'll be in charge of calling this one. And again, what an honor for those people to make it downstate as well. And you get a good look right there at the All-American Candace Parker. What a show she put on last night. Regina Dominican made their way out of, Daryl said, maybe the toughest sectional in the state. They had to knock off all these ranked teams just to get here, and last night they defeated rival Trinity to put themselves here in the semifinals.
And it's their defense that's carried them so far.
Naperville Central in red, Dominican in white. Tiffany Hudson, big game last night. She had 7 assists. Hudson looking to dish early. Erica Carter, that's how she started last night. Other than
right
that,
in the corner.
First possession for Regina. It's Ashley Robinson. 2 big free throws last night to clinch it in the final minute for the Panthers.
The lower the score in this game, the more chance Regina has to win.
Quay on the kick out. Lauren Schober will track down her own miss.
And there's a rebound right away. That's what they need to do. They need to get second shots if they're going to remain in this game.
Quay pops out. Knocking it down is Clarice Jones.
Clarice Jones from the outside. She was in a 3-point contest. She can shoot from out there, but she likes to put the ball on the floor and go left. So you have to guard for that too, and she really put it right in.
Jones came up big late in last night's ball game against Trinity. Inside it goes to Peters. A little bit of a shuffle there. Naperville Central and Regina Dominican come from the greater Chicagoland area. Of course, Naperville, west of Chicago, and Wilmette's the home of Regina Dominican. They make their way here to Normal. Jones again. Now Parker to lead the break. Close to an over and back. Jenny Stoner, smallest player on the floor at 5 feet 2 inches, will get the rebound credit.
But she may be the most important player for Regina on the floor today.
Great defensive player, makes things happen offensively, makes other people around her better. She has it now. Schober, a nice ball game last night, can't get that one to go. The chip crashed the board and give her team possession of the ball on the held ball.
Schober's a very good shooter when she gets to spot up, and she can hit threes too from the corner, so she's got good range.
Last night, Schober had 9 points.
Yeah, they'll have to go out and guard her on the perimeter also.
He's got a good look. Hudson ahead to Peters. Courtney Peters will give it off to Erica Carter. Inside, Chrissy to Parker. Ashley Robinson with the foul.
Well, you don't see many lobs in high school girls basketball, but that was one.
Yeah, you're right, Daryl. That's not in the playbook of too many teams, but you have somebody in the form of Candace Parker who can get up and get it. You're all right.
You watch a lot of the men's games, you'll see that, but not in the girls.
Courtney Peters puts the Redhawks on the board. Get a good look there at Jim Russo. Second appearance for Regina here in the state tournament. Back in '84, they finished third.
That's Mike Small was the head coach, head of the IBCA girls selection committee now for the All-State.
The trap at half court results in the turnover. Last night it was Naperville Central forcing 21 Marian Catholic turnovers.
That was a difference in that game, and this is going to be this perimeter game is going to be important for both teams.
Matchup inside, Clarice Jones overmatched by Parker.
That's not a good matchup in there on that. Coach Russo said he's going to play a different type of defense at times at 23 down, where he doubles down somewhat.
Now it's Quaid, triple teamed, and gives it away to Carter.
Christina 90% of the time will turn to the baseline, but she's been going left more, and that's just a situation where they double down on her and she needs to kick over to the backside.
Lauren Schober in the corner, and Rachel Chrissy will pick up the personal foul after the turnover. Schober's had an impact here in the early going for the Panthers. With the timeout on the floor, we'd like to remind you.
Been a great leader for us this year, and she has come on as the year has gone on. As we have played tougher games, as we got into the regional and sectional complex, it seems like she's just wanted to take over the role of leading the team. And it's not just in her scoring, it's her locker room leadership, it's her practice demeanor, it's her desire to defend and her desire to score. She's basically pretty much stepped her game up to the level of our competition.
Number one, you heard a conversation with Andy Nussbaum, the head coach for Naperville Central, and then Jim Russo, you just heard him here, but those two were with Lee Hall at halftime of the first game. And Daryl, that's something you see down here, the camaraderie among the coaches just hours before they're ready to meet in the biggest game of the year.
That's right. I have to talk to Coach Russo. I thought last time when Mike Small was down here, he wore a tuxedo during this last game. I don't know how many people remember that, but that was, I'm going to talk to him about getting one out for the next game.
Regina down by a point. Quay inside position.
Very nice reversal of the basketball, a seal, and Christina went right up with it. That was just Christina Quay on her reversal and seal, and a real nice pass on the reversal.
Chrissy pushes the other way. Tough shot. We flip-flop the lead back and forth.
Regina needs to space the floor out a little bit more here so they can get some easy baskets on the reversals.
Stoner breaks a trap to Schober, and they'll reset with Clarice Jones, headed to Southern Illinois University for her collegiate career up top. Quay again. She'll get her own board. Parker the foul.
That just shows how strong Christina is. She is a tough rebounder.
Christina Quay, 6.3 rebounds per ball game. She's stands 6 feet tall. She's a senior. She was the Girls Catholic Athletic Conference Player of the Year.
And there's no doubt she deserved that. We're going to Marquette University next year.
This is one of these years down here, Daryl, where we may have as many Division I signees as I can recall in recent history in these Final 8.
Illinois is loaded, and just, Pat Head Summit was here yesterday to watch some of the kids. I'm sure Candace was one of them. But we've had a lot of Division I top coaches in to see our kids.
After coming up short, the number is in Regina's favor here. They find Quay quickly. Boy, they don't wait long, do they? Parker was down on the other end on the floor, and Regina sensed it, and they knew they had the advantage with Christina Quay inside.
Well, if you've watched Regina play all year, you'll see that Christina Quay gets a lot of breakouts like that, getting the ball down the floor quickly and going right to the basket. But the difference in the game last night and the game today, when Candace went to the basket, she had a little body on her, and she just didn't quite get her shoulders turned to the basket, and it just kind of rolled off. And that's what Regina's going to have to do if they want to control her a little bit.
First free throw is good for Quay. One thing that Jim Russo would like to get out of Christina, maybe open up just a little bit. She's a very quiet young lady. She needs to be in a force in a game for Regina to be successful. She makes both of those.
She's a great kid, and her parents are really nice too.
The lead goes back to the Panthers. This is an interesting matchup right here when you have Jones giving away several inches to Parker. Clarice Jones, 5 feet 8 inches tall. Parker listed at 6'3". Parker feels it. Jones with the foul.
It's a hand check foul. One of the points of emphasis here in the IHSA was supposed to be to control the hand checking a little bit and let the game flow a little more freely on the outside, and so they're looking for that a little bit more than they were in the past.
Stripped away momentarily by Robinson. Parker recovers. Carter, she'll shoot a couple.
See, there's their second chance points we talked about in the keys. You just can't let Carter come in. She got a lot of tough rebounds yesterday for them and really increase their offensive output on those second chance points.
Again, that was the game last night that found Marion Catholic, the state's third-ranked team, falling by 20 to Naperville Central.
And Christina's second foul.
Into the ball game now for Regina. Replacing Ashley Robinson, who has 2 fouls, is Katie Budzinski. Robinson, as we said, the key figure last night. She had a huge steal in the last minute. With her team up by a point, ended up making a couple of free throws to make it a 3-point difference in the subsequent final score, 39-36 over Trinity. Schober thinks about it. Budzinski. And there's Peters with the foul over the back of Quay.
And Budge is a defensive specialist, but she can really hustle, and she's also very tenacious on defense, and Coach Russo likes that about her.
Her official name is Budzinski, 5'8" junior. In the super sectional program, they just had her listed as Katie Bud.
Right.
She'll go by anything. She doesn't care. Good first step by Jones. Parker last night had 13 rebounds, gets one here. She's able to just look over the top. Chrissy sees the opening. The second chance. Courtney Peters.
Draw the defense, kick, and somebody's got to help out, and then there's a chance for a rebound, and that's what they're doing.
9-7, the Red Hawks back on top. Turnover sends it the other way. The strip by Jones.
That's the thing you're going to notice about Regina's guards. They have much quicker hands, and they're really all over the ball.
Underneath 2 minutes here in a low-scoring first quarter.
She wants to go left, that's for sure.
Last night, we talked about second chance points. Last night, that number's 19-4 second chance points. We take a look at how these two teams match up. We talk about the defense for Regina. Well, some pretty good numbers there for Naperville Central on the defensive side, only allowing about 39 points per ball game. Regina's offense at times has struggled. Jim Russo has said, you know, it's taken some time to grasp the offense.
When the offense breaks down, they have a lot of kids that can create something for someone else. Clarice Jones is very good at that, and Ashley Robinson also. Plus a little point guard Stoner. I mean, she can take the ball right to the basket.
Budzinski again gets her hands in on the situation.
And Rachel Cristiota, she's just tough, hard-nosed player. She's the kind of player you like to have on your team, and she's an outstanding hockey player too, which gives her that toughness.
She has that look about her that she's out there meaning business for the full 32 minutes. Jones disrupts the entry pass. Big step by Parker. She goes strong with the left hand.
Well, right after the rebound.
4-point lead for Naperville Central. Biggest lead of the game for either team, and it's coming up here with 60 seconds left in the first quarter. The winner to face Fenwick. Stoner, penetration, kick out. Carter steps in front of Schober.
Regina had what they wanted. They had Schober posted up inside, but she didn't keep her seal, and Carter did a nice job of coming around, stepping around, getting the ball.
Could not finish. We'll see whether the Panthers here would like to hold for one or if they can get the ball inside to Quay. That's where Stoner's looking.
They do like to spread it out near the end of the quarter.
Schober wide open.
He can shoot. That's up to the baseline.
After a 9-point game last night, she has her first 2. Naperville Central looking at their last trip down the floor here this quarter. This is where they started with 10 seconds. A whistle. Which way is it going? At the bucket.
And that's just a tough call. Could have gone either way.
Instead, Christina Quay picks up the foul. Boy, that could turn into a 3-point difference right here very quickly.
Could be a Michael Jordan call there.
7 first quarter points for Parker, this coming off a 28-point performance last night. Molly Glanz in for the last 2 seconds, replaces Courtney Peters. Blazinski to launch. And we played one. In the second semifinal, Naperville Central has their biggest lead of the game. It's 14-9 Redhawks. We'll be back with second quarter action after these words from your local stations.
Naperville Central is in the lead 14-9 over Regina, and joining me from Naperville Central is Naperville Central's principal, Tom Paulson. He's been the principal there for now 13 years, and when you're talking about a player like Candace Parker, the notoriety that she's gotten throughout the year and really her career at Naperville Central High School, how is her life like in high school?
Well, you know, I think it's tough for a young person to get that kind of notoriety and keep their balance. But this is a young lady who's been able to do that. She's got an outstanding family who helps her keep that balance. She's a good student. She's also a great human being. Her teammates love her, kids around school love her. If you watched her in the school, you'd never know that she had the kind of notoriety that she does. And so that makes it even more enjoyable to cheer for her and watch her, because she's the whole package in terms of a student athlete and just a quality high school young person.
And the fact that she is a junior, so she will be returning next year.
That's nice. There's no doubt about that. It's great to have her back as a player and as a student. There's no doubt.
Well, you're talking about notoriety with Candace Parker, but if you just heard seconds ago, Tom Paulson got a fan club here also.
They're great kids. It's great to see this fan support, and I love our students. They're the best in the world, and wouldn't trade them for anybody, and it's great for them to have this experience, because it's something they'll remember all their lives.
Tom Paulson, principal at Naperville Central. Dave, back to you.
Thanks, Tom. And the young lady they were just talking about, Candace Parker, picks up her 9th point of the game.
On a backdoor cut.
Stoner answers with the 3.
You know, I knew Tom Paulson when he had dark hair. He started teaching with me, and he's really a good guy.
He's obviously enjoying his trip downstate. First time Naperville Central's been here. Boys or girls in basketball. That's a big bucket right there from Stoner, her first three. Parker, not this time.
I'm sure Regina would like to see her shoot that shot a little bit more, though, rather than go to the basket.
Budzinski's come out in relief.
Oh, boy, there's Christina Quay down the floor again.
Let Parker fly by her. 6 points for Quay, and all of a sudden we have a 2-point game.
Put on the brakes, and they fly right by.
Well, you said it earlier, Daryl. She runs the floor.
She does.
And there's Stoner creating havoc. And creates a walk. Back on November 30th, what a huge game for Parker in that one. 38 points, 17 rebounds, outdueling Christina Quay, 14 and 6. Take a look at that margin, just a 6-point margin. Again, that back at the end of November. We're playing here in March on the final day of the girls' basketball season. Parker the block on Schober. Boy, Stoner is just right there with you all the time. One extra step for Chrissy, and she knew it.
See, Regina's guards just put a little pressure. They make you do things a little quicker than they normally would. It takes you out of your rhythm. Naperville is actually playing man-to-man defense most of this time now that used to play in a zone, but they've gone to a man-to-man against Regina.
Talk about tough schedules these teams play. Overtime win over Fenwick for Naperville Central, and the matchup's right down the line. It's the reason why Andy Nussbaum and his team are here, as well as Jim Russo. You toughen yourself up through the season.
You only be the best by playing the best, and if you don't do that, you're never going to find out what you have to do to win.
Well, a lot of that is borne out. We were talking last night about the McDonald's shootout, where you bring some of the top teams, not just from Illinois, but top teams from the Midwest.
Not only that, but these are the top 3 teams in this tournament from the Dundee Crown tournament, and we can talk about state champions that have come out of that tournament. That's the best in the state.
Regina looking for the tie. Quay can't get the roll. The bounce ahead to Carter. Waits and scores.
Another one of those perfect bounce passes. See, when someone throws you a pass like that, it comes up right in your hands instead of having to get the ball and then go up with it. You're right in your rhythm, ready to go up. It's just perfect pass.
Way up top around Peters. Budzinski over Parker. Nice position from the freshman Carter. Chrissy watching Parker. Back to Chrissy. That is sweet.
Pretty nice.
There was eye contact all the way down the floor between those two. Quay, good step. Partially blocked. And
Now that's the second foul on Candace also.
decision time here for Andy Nussbaum with 3:58 left here in the first half.
I think Candace is probably a smart enough player to step away from foul.
Christina Quay makes it a three-point play, makes it a three-point game. 3:58 left here in the second quarter, 20-17, Naperville Central. We've got a good one here from you from Normal.
It adds a little bit of pressure because, I mean, obviously it is a lot of pressure being number one. But I think that we deal well with the pressure. And as of right now, the undefeated status that we have doesn't matter that much. We're just taking it one game at a time. And we know we have to win 3 games. And we're taking we have to win tomorrow, and then we'll take the next game after that. So the undefeatedness really doesn't come in.
Ready to travel. Yeah!
On his phone, and he puts you on hold, and it talks about his business. Gem Concrete is how high you want to jump. He was there getting up.
You know, watching him, I'm surprised he's not dislocated that right shoulder for as many times as he puts that fist down.
He gets excited.
His team trails by 3. Here come the Red Hawks. Quay can't quite save it.
Well, we'll see what Naperville does when they come back down. They could go to a zone defense to kind of protect Candace a little bit, or they could take her off of Quay and put Courtney Peters on Quay.
He has to be careful offensively as well. Can't get the reverse to go. Robinson back into the game. She picked up 2 personal fouls.
They've gone to the zone, I think, to protect Candace inside. And they put Chrissy's going to be on Quay.
Playing a little boxing one there. Let's take a look here at how these teams stack up as far as the cities they come from. Of course, Naperville Central, their school name is also their city's name. DuPage Valley Conference, DuPage County. Population, one of the bigger cities in Illinois, 85,000. And on the other side, Wilmette, Cook County, 26,000. And it's the Girls Catholic Athletic Conference for Regina, Dominican. Peters in the lane. There's a holding call inside. Who do we have? Are they pointing at Quay or are they pointing at Robinson?
Christina Quay. That's a tough call in there when you got 3 people going for the ball. Especially on Christina. They really need her in the ball game.
Second foul on Quay, the 5th team foul. We said Naperville Central, first time downstate. They'd like to make it a big one. Undefeated team bidding to become the first undefeated state championship since Daryl Kipp's Maine West team back in '88. Into the game for Regina is Roberta Ceccarini-Nelly. And who is coming out?
Probably Christina Quay is going to try and protect her a little bit.
I think Christina was trying to stay in the game, but Russo would have none of that.
Now, Roberta's a tall girl that doesn't play a lot, but she is a physical presence in there and a big body.
6 feet 3 inches tall, Chrissy with an air ball, but there's Parker. She's got a chance for 3.
You just got to push her off of that block because that backside, especially with Clarice Jones, she's just not that tall. And once she gets a hold of the ball, it's trouble.
Interesting, the philosophy here. Parker picked up her second foul about a minute or so ago, and Andy Nussbaum elected to leave her in the ball game. But as soon as Quay picked up her third, Russo says, out she comes.
Different coaches have different philosophies, and it depends on what you do during the year. If you teach kids to play with fouls, they should be able to do it in a tournament.
12 points for Parker. The lead is now at 6. Stoner thought about it. Stuck one earlier. Tiffany Hudson really.
The backside is wide open. Just didn't see it quick enough.
Peters the steal.
It's going to be a hesitation dribble and right to the basket.
Little drifting on the shot, but it goes down for Parker. 14 points. 14 of her team's 25, the biggest lead of the day at 8.
She uses that hesitation to set up the defense, and they just relax for a minute and then boom, right by.
Winner of this game gets Fenwick in the state championship ball game. Fenwick put 80 points on the board against Belleville Althoff earlier. Ooh, there's foul number 3. Oh my, and you saw, Daryl, you saw Candace start and almost try to pull back, and she knew it the moment she made contact.
Yeah, she just tried for the steal and just got her hand in there, and Lauren Schober just ripped it through. Her hand was in there too, and that's a foul.
Third foul comes at 2:06, and there's no decision to be made now. Out she comes.
Well, right now, Naperville's got a good situation, even with Candace out of the game, because you have Quay out of the game also.
What do you do now if you're Russo? Do you bring Quay back in?
I don't think he will. He'll wait for the second half. But he needs to make little inroads right now to this lead that Naperville has.
Molly Glantz has checked into the game for Naperville Central, replacing Parker. Robinson is held by Chrissy.
Another hand check foul.
That's Chrissy's second.
And one of the things you find here is a difference in styles of officiating. In the Chicagoland area, especially the Catholic League, you're not going to see that much of a hand check foul on that little of a hand check. But at the downstate officials, you'll find that there's a lot more of that going on. They really protect the dribbler a lot more. Something you have to kind of adapt to as a player throughout the course of the game, decide how the fouls are being called and what's going on, no matter where the official's from.
Well,
that's an important part of the game.
Another reason to be playing many different teams with different styles of play at different locations in the state or at different shootouts.
Right, we used to like to go downstate and play Moline and Galesburg and Rock Island and those teams, and they like to come up and play in our area also, because it makes a huge difference in the different styles.
A couple of free throws for Robinson. Her first points of the day makes it a 6-point difference.
Regina's going to a trapping defense right now.
I think Hudson was looking to bounce it off of a white jersey player. Nobody was there.
Well, you can understand what Jim's going to this, because Candace is not in the game. When Candace is in the game, they always have a release point. Without her, somebody else is going to have to take the ball, and just much more dangerous situation with Candace in the game. But right now, they can put a lot of pressure on the outside area.
Looking to narrow this 6-point lead. Less than 90 seconds to go before the half.
They need to get Ashley Robinson off on some shots here. She needs to score from the outside.
Jones on a fadeaway. Lands the rebound for the Red Hawks. There's
another
a trap.
Yep. They're going to stay outside and let them trap again.
Peters goes glass. A little chess match being played here between these two teams right now here in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, they were very lucky. When Tiffany Hudson dished that ball off, she ran right into the defensive player from Regina, and that could have been a charge right there, but the referees didn't call it, and then Peters is going to the line.
On the season, Peters a 64% free throw shooter. She's made all 3 of her attempts here today.
And she's pretty much the vocal leader, I think, for Naperville. She's done a lot of talking in the papers, and they really go to her, and she's really a vocal presence for them and a real team leader.
Well, it's something that's somewhat frightening to other teams, that she's the only senior starter on this team. 4 of their 5 starters, including Parker, return next year. Budzinski to the hole. Hudson will look to Nussbaum and ask his direction here in the final 40 seconds.
They need to get somebody in the middle of the floor, get the ball to them, and then break the defense down.
Carter. Bam!
Where did she make that shot from? Right in the corner.
Her 3 makes it a 9-point game just like that. Robinson. Rebound to Peters. There's time. Chrissy's going to get a good look. Bring it up. Back-to-back 3-pointers from Erica Carter and now Rachel Chrissy in the last minute of play have made this a 12-point difference. Naperville Central, the 33-21 lead, and without Parker, they come down and knock them down.
Just builds the momentum going into halftime. It gives Naperville everything in the locker room to talk about at halftime.
Carter, the freshman, Chrissy, the junior. It all adds up to the 12-point difference, the biggest of the game. We had just mentioned that it was just momentarily a 6-point lead, and Dominican Regina had a chance to cut it. But instead, a couple of guards stick a couple of big shots here late in the half. 33-21 is the Naperville Central lead. And Lisa Prati has Andy Nussbaum standing by.
And now let's hear the Carlisle High School pep band under the direction of Kelly Kesterson.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but we've said all year that we have other players, but I don't know if we had 2 bigger shots all year than those 2 last shots there. There's a big difference between a 6-point lead and a 12-point lead. So, you know, Candace will be properly chastised for that 3rd foul, and then we'll go from there.
So do you keep, is the tempo going to stay the same then for the second half, regardless if Parker's in? How do you keep it up to tempo?
I think we like playing at that tempo, and we play better at that tempo, and we'll just have to tell Candace, you be careful because they're going to come at you.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Naperville Central head coach Andy Nussbaum. Dave, back to you.
Thanks, Lisa. And, of course, as far as Regina's concerned, we talk about foul trouble. Christina Quay has 2 personal fouls. She sat out the last couple of minutes. And, of course, Andy Nussbaum referring to Candace Parker's 3 fouls. But you know what? You can stack 14 points on the board for that young lady. On the other side, Rachel Chrissy with 7. Courtney Peters with 6. Eric Carter with 6. And as far as Regina's concerned, they're going to have to get back in it. They want to get back in it quickly here when we start the second half. But we're not quite ready to do that. Much more coming up here at the half from Redbird Arena. We'll step aside just for a moment as you get these words from your local stations.
We are at the half of the second semifinal game between Naperville Central and Regina. Naperville Central in the lead right now, 33-21. Joining me is Barry Temkin from he's the high school columnist, the sports columnist for the Chicago Tribune. You have been now for the past 15 years, and it has to be exciting for you to be able to watch the same players every 4 years coming back and seeing players like Aaron Lawless as well as Candace Parker do such an incredible job in the state tournament.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm growing up with them. You know, Aaron Lawless, it's her third time in 4 years. Here as a freshman, and we've been watching Candace Parker, of course, since she's a freshman, and two such incredibly gifted players. It's hard to believe they're in the same Elite Eight.
And the Tribune is also a co-sponsor with the IBCA for Miss Basketball, and Candace Parker won that last year. But in my opinion, is it between Aaron Lawless and Candace Parker? It's got to be a hard one to choose this year.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, we do this with the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association, and we're proud to be a part of it. And I don't know if we've ever had a tougher two-horse race. I don't know how the voting's going, and of course, it's open to anyone, but I think it's pretty obvious, you know, who it's going to come down to, and how do you choose between the two? Parker, you know, Candace seems to play all 5 positions at once, and Lawless is so incredibly skilled inside, or, you know, facing up also.
It's incredible, but what is the actual process for the voting for Miss Basketball? Who ends up voting, and how did Miss Basketball actually get created?
It actually was created back in the 80s. We actually started with Mr. Basketball, and I think it was the idea of George Canoe, who was our prep sports editor at the time, now serves with another function at the Tribune. It was a great idea. He came up with it, got the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association to go along. We did Mr. Basketball for a while, and then someone finally figured out, well, you know, we ought to be doing this for the girls too, and we've done Ms. Basketball. Basically, it's a vote of coaches and media. Each one gets one vote. You vote, you know, first, second, third place on each ballot, and, you know, most votes, that's the winner.
When does the process take place?
The voting's going on right now. It'll be ending soon, and then fairly shortly after that, it'll be announced in the Chicago Tribune.
When you look at a team like Fenwick with Aaron Lawless, and the fact that Fenwick for the past 4 years has been the only team that has scored the most points per season, how do they rank with some of the teams that you've seen throughout the years, for example, like Stevenson High School?
Well, Fenwick clearly this year and over the last 3 previous years has had a dynasty that ranks up where we're the best. You know, I've seen 5 Marshall State champions, great teams, 2, you know, back-to-back Loyola winners, I think 96, 97, great teams. But I think those 95, 96 Stevenson teams, particularly the first year when Tamika and Talia Catchings, the sisters, were playing together. Then after the first year, Tamika transferred to Texas. I think that first Stevenson team might have been the best I've seen, just because it had just the most dominating, incredible, just suffocating defense that I've seen in person in high school girls basketball in this state.
Barry, I got to put you on the spot. I have to ask you, how are you voting for Miss Basketball? Are you willing to give that up?
I'm going to take myself off the spot. I got to see tonight's championship game if Naperville Central, gets there. It's so close that I kind of want to see that. That may be my tiebreaker.
Barry Temkin, high school sports columnist for the Chicago Tribune. We still have more to come here at the half. Naperville Central is in the lead, 33-21. We'll be back right after these local messages.
From outside Redbird Arena, it's a very wonderful day here in Normal, Illinois, and it's a wonderful day inside for Naperville Central, at least at the half. They lead at 33-21. We welcome you back to our coverage of Illinois girls basketball here. Class AA action this week. Last week, of course, it was Chicago Hope, the state champion, but this week we still have a little bit of business to do, and we have some business right now to take a look at first half statistics in this one. A 12-point difference in the ball game, and Daryl, shooting numbers, Regina Dominican, we've said at times, struggles this year in terms of their offense, and they're struggling a little bit putting the ball down today.
Well, especially the last few seconds of that half. Shot selection is real important. They were taking shots off the run. They were taking shots from bad spots on the floor. Naperville cleared the ball out and got those easy shots down the floor with people standing wide open. And so shot selection is probably more important right now than the statistics, although if you look at Naperville, mostly because of their inside scoring, they're right at 50%. It's tough to beat that.
Turnovers about even after you saw the rebound numbers favoring Naperville Central by 4. Points in the paint, not a real surprise either, a 10-point difference in that one.
No, especially because they're rebounding on the inside. Courtney Peters got those big rebounds inside, and Carter got those rebounds. Plus, you got Candace in there. And in the paint, the only one that's scoring really for Regina is Christina.
Let's take a look at those individual scores. You see Candace Parker with 14. Rachel Chrissy, thanks to that 3-ball late, has 7. Christina Quay left with about 2 minutes left. She has 9 points here after 2 quarters of play. Well, there's more basketball to be played here in half number 2. Of course, Regina Dominican will continue to try to use that defense. Naperville Central kind of likes the way their offense is looking. More to come here from Redbird Arena, but first, we take this break and hear from your local stations.
We need sports-minded women and men to get into the action. It's easy to become a licensed official. Just contact your local high school athletic director or call the IHSA office at 309-663-6377 or visit the IHSA website at www.ihsa.org.
Welcome back. Naperville Central in the lead, 33-21. Joining me right now, head coach from Regina Dominican, Jim Russo. And Jim, your team defensively causing the fouls there against Candace Parker. She's ending the first half with 3. Is your momentum going to be building up then for the second half?
Well, we thought we were in good shape, obviously, when she went to the bench. We gave up those 2 late threes that hurt us a little bit off of our press, but she's a great player, and we're not going to sit there and counter fouls, but we think if we can get her to work hard and possibly get into a little difficulty, it's going to be to our advantage.
And thanks, Coach. Jim Russo, Regina Dominican, back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Lisa. We take a look at first half highlights, and it starts with number 32, Candace Parker. Parker with 14 first half points. On the other side, Clarice Jones got things started very nicely with the 3-ball of her own, but inside backboards, Courtney Peters converting off the offensive glass. And now it's time for the All-American on the assist. Parker to Carter, count it for 2. Don't sell Regina short. Lauren Schober can stick it from the outside. Rachel Chrissy, the lob, the dish, and the score for Chrissy and the Redhawks. We go the other way. Christina Quay can run the floor for the Panthers. Christina with 9 points in the first half. Making it happen the hard way, using them all and picking up. Jim Russo hopes he can have that working for him in the second half. We'll find out right after this.
All the way high. You're down the middle block.
With Lisa Prati working the sidelines and alongside of Daryl Kipp, I'm Dave Bernhardt. Happy you've joined us here. We are in the final semifinal game of the day. The winner to face Fenwick, and Regina Dominican will start it off in a quick way. Lauren Schober gets it going.
She's a good shooter from the outside. What you got to do is, can you say Ashley Robinson, where has she been in this game? If she gets off and gets some shots, Regina will be in a lot better shape than they are right now, but she's taking her shots on the run instead of getting her feet set, and that's the way she's the best shooter.
Turnover goes the other way now. Lauren Schober again. How about that? Right back come the Panthers.
She's got a nice touch from the outside, especially from that baseline.
There were 6 late points scored by Naperville Central at the end of the first half, and now Dominican has cut 4 of those off here very quickly from the sophomore.
Good pressure there from Ashley Robinson deflecting the ball.
Both starters back on the floor. Clarice Jones, Ashley Robinson, Jenny Stoner, Lauren Schober, and Christina Quay for Dominican. Regina Dominican, Rachel Chrissy, Tiffany Hudson, Courtney Peters, Erica Carter, and Candace Parker for the Redhawks from Naperville Central.
When you've got Clarice Jones inside guarding against Candace, you really have to have good ball pressure.
Peters went hard after Quay.
That's a very interesting call because you got the verticality principle there, and she really jumped into her, and Christina was called for the foul. I don't think they really used the verticality principle in that situation.
Peters has been perfect from the line today in 4 attempts. We will not be able to say that anymore. We said Courtney Peters, the only senior in this Naperville Central club, ranked 7th in the nation by USA Today. Jones, the pull-up. Quay. She'll shoot it down.
Talking about USA Today, we've never had a team in Illinois ranked #1 at the end of the season. We had Maine West was ranked 2, Fenwick was ranked 2, Marshall's been ranked 2, and there's some other ones too that have been good teams. Stevenson was ranked in there, but nobody was ever ranked #1.
That's like getting a lot of respect, but not quite enough, huh?
Right.
Quay on the season, 70% from the line. You think about the teams you just rolled off. You're talking about the elite teams in the country. That's the special basketball that we see right here in Normal.
Well, you have to add Peoria Richwoods as a downstate team when Nora Lewis played with Mary Hungate. That was really rated. That started the roll for the Illinois team.
Jones the reach in, and she knew it.
It's her 3rd foul too, right?
That is foul number 3 on Clarice Jones. So your foul situation finds Jones and Quay with 3 each for Regina, and the other side Parker with 3 for Naperville. Jones will come out with those 3 fouls.
They really need Clarice in the lineup right now, just for her scoring and her ability to move the basketball around.
Inside position to Schober off the miss from Parker. Haley Robinson open, didn't want it.
She had her feet set but didn't take the shot.
Another look, same spot. There it is.
I said earlier in the book, where is Ashley Robinson? There she is. Gives her feet set, and that's the shot she can take.
It's her first field goal of the day. Makes it a 5-point game. Parker answers.
That's a dagger right there. You come down, you get the 3, and Candace comes right down, hits a nice, easy shot like that.
12-point lead was cut to 5, and now it's back up to 7. Courtney Peters with her second foul. Schober in front of Carter. Schober with three. Back-to-back threes now by Regina.
That left-hand corner, she loves that left-hand corner.
Budzinski making it tough on the inbounds. Boy, that hasn't taken long. We've only played 2 minutes and 19 seconds. 12-point halftime lead is down to 4.
It's a little change for Naperville. They have Candace controlling the ball in the backcourt all the way down the floor, but it takes her out of rebound position.
Right there.
Takes her away from the basket. I'm sure Jim's happy with that.
Chance to cut into a 4-point deficit.
There she is again. Oh, didn't look for the shot that time.
The thing about Regina Dominican, they just don't go away. They just keep digging in there, and they're looking you in the eye.
That's because of their defensive pressure.
Way has Peters on her hip. Budzinski. Ahead to Chrissy. Hudson.
That's just too easy.
18 points for Parker. She had 28 last night. Give the assist to Hudson. She had 7 last night.
When she's at the high post, you just cannot let her slide right down the lane so easily. You got to put a body on her and make her work for that.
38-32. We're underneath 5 minutes here in the third quarter. Robinson.
Got a breakout.
Chrissy to Parker. That's a pretty good trailer you have running the break.
That was all set up by Rachel Chrissy. She did a nice job of finding her, just taking control and not going to the basket hard, just seeing what's going on in the rest of the floor around her.
Schober a little short. Chrissy will look to push. That is one high lob pass just off the hands of Parker. Robinson moving fast. Chrissy the block. Rachel Chrissy has come up big here in these last few moments. The ball will go to Naperville Central.
That was a big position. If Regina could have scored there, it would have put him right back in the hunt.
We have a timeout on the floor. We'll be back after these local messages. Well, not only is she a 1986 graduate of Regina Dominican, she is the wife of our director, Frank Vance. Also a big hello to sister-in-laws Peggy Sullivan, class of '88, and Kathleen Sullivan, the class of '99 at Regina. Peggy now, she's in San Diego, and she's getting live updates right on www.ihsa.org. They reach across the country for basketball and sports information on the web. With Daryl Kipp, I'm Dave Bernard. Third quarter, 8-point difference. Regina looking to cut into that. They have trailed nearly the entire game. We had a few lead changes in the first quarter, but since there, it's been all Red Hawks. Quay can't get the hop. Did track it down, though. Schober not afraid to put it up.
That was a big trip, a big possession.
A couple of missed opportunities for the Panthers.
And they had wide open looks. The ball just didn't drop for them.
Naperville Central 33-0 on the season. They survived a huge scare in their sectional championship. They'll give the ball away here. That sectional championship ball game against Neuqua Valley. A shot at the buzzer when the tie game was ruled not in time. It sent the two teams into overtime, and from there, Redhawks took care of business with a 5-point win. They were that close to not making it here.
And Neuqua Valley's got the All-State player, Lindsey Wisdom-Hilton, who's just an outstanding junior in the state of Illinois.
We've seen her downstate the last 2 years. Schober. But there's Jenny Stoner. Spin with the left hand, Quay blocked by Parker. Parker flying down the floor. To Hudson.
Transition basket, that's about the first one that they've had. Regina's had a few, but that was about the first one they've really had on the transition.
Hudson flying down the left side. Your 6'3" All-American leading it down the middle of the floor. Lead back to 10. Tough angle for Schober. Will we do it again? It's a 3-on-2. With the finish.
It's just a real dangerous part of the ball game for Regina. If they just let this get out of touch right now, they'll have a hard time coming back.
Enjoy this, folks. You don't see players like this come along too often. Coming right at you.
From the free throw line to the basket without a dribble.
And a big smile at the end. Parker with 22 points following a 28-point effort last night. The last time these teams met, Parker rang it up for 38 points against the Panthers. That was back on November 30th, and that was part of a 52-46 Naperville Central win. Naperville Central, they've been averaging over 60 points per game in the tournament. Their high coming in December hit the 80-point mark. Bennett Academy, they had to struggle to get past Bennett with 37, but that's good enough for a win. That's all they've known this year in Naperville. Well, coming up tonight, of course, at 6:30 as we take a look at Regina's highs and lows. 73 points is a lot for them. 35 points, a lot of times that's good enough for a win for Regina, as they've been holding opponents to about 35 points per game actually in the tournament. Let's go to our sideline reporter right now, Lisa Prati. Lisa?
I've got girl power going on over here at Regina. They are the loudest group that's here. Carol is joining me now, and Carol, you do have a ritual every single week for the Regina team?
Yes, we do. We go to the games. We have something called RDAA that goes out and supports every team, not just for basketball, but for every sport. So we're always there to support them 100% of the way.
And 100% support over here. We've got a lot of seniors right here, but I got to give another one a chance to say a few words, because you guys do this every single game, and it has to be exciting for you to have Regina make it all the way to the semifinals.
It's been so exciting. The first time in 19 years, and most of the senior class is here, and we're our skirts, and we're so excited, and yes. Go Regina!
Can you tell how excited they are? They're looking for Regina to advance to see if they can actually make the 2003 state title. Back to you, Dave.
Well, Lisa, they're going to have to push a little harder because they trail by 13, but make it 11. Christina Quay will not go away.
That last basket that Candace had, it also took Clarice Jones to the bench with her fourth foul, and that's going to hurt Regina a little bit also.
Jones has not seen much court time today with foul trouble.
Tiffany Hudson.
Finally, the whistle as Budzinski, she always seems to be in the middle of things. Katie Budd right there with the tie-up. The possession arrow goes in favor of Naperville Central. Parker and Chrissy took a little breather there at that last timeout. They will be back in, replacing Liz Ledensky along with Molly Glantz, who took care of business there for about a trip and a half down the floor.
See what she just did?
Didn't quite work.
Well, she had, Bud's had her back turned, and she was going to bounce it off her backside and go in for a shot, but she just kind of turned at the last minute, and Candace, her plan didn't work, but I've seen that happen before.
I don't think Coach Nussbaum was all that thrilled with that particular play.
When it works, though, it's really nice.
That's right. We said later on this evening you'll get third place ball game as Christina Quay had that big first half. A little bit quieter here in half number 2. Third place game coming your way at 6:30. Championship game to follow, and we have a whistle.
Last time I saw that play that she tried in the state tournament here, Natasha Pointer from Whitney Young, outstanding guard that went and played at Rutgers, All-American player. She did the same thing and got a basket off of that.
Cannot leave Lauren Schober open. She has 11, 9 in this quarter. Final minute of play. Ledensky back into the game, along with Glanz.
There's a couple subs in there for Naperville, and they don't usually play a lot of players. Of course, Nussbaum's trying to rest a few of these kids right now, getting ready for that game against Fenwick if they get through this.
Fenwick was able to rest several of their players earlier this afternoon, defeating Althoff 80-54. What a big game for Erin Lawless. 34 points and 9 rebounds.
And Fenwick got out to an easy lead early, a big lead, 19 points, and then Dave started subbing. And when that happens, sometimes you lose a lot of continuity, and Althoff came right back on him. But then the second half, he didn't sub quite so much, and the game got a little out of hand.
Parker wanted the ball. Ahead to Schober. Regina trailing by 9. They have plenty of time on the clock. Good ball movement. Now they better hurry. Nice play by Regina Quay.
Christina Quay caught Courtney Peters on the high side and just sealed her off, and it was a nice entry pass. Perfect situation to get a nice little layup inside.
Regina hanging around, a 7-point difference as we head to the final 8 minutes. We'll come back following these words from your local stations. Championship. They are the team's second. They are the state's top-ranked team, and they would be facing the state's #2 team, Naperville Central. We start the fourth quarter along with Daryl Kipp and Lisa Prati. I'm Dave Bernhardt. Third place game at 6:30, championship game at 8 o'clock right here on the station you're watching, the IHSA Television Network.
I was just watching the outstanding cheerleaders from Naperville. They don't have their ends on the right side today. They didn't get up early enough this morning. They're going to have to work on that this afternoon, it looks like.
7-point difference. This was a 6-point game back in November between these two teams. Budzinski, plenty of time, maybe too much time.
Yeah, she just aimed it a little bit, didn't really shoot it. Stoner almost had another assist. That assist inside to Quay on that last basket at quarter was just perfect pass from Jenny.
Into the corner to Budzinski. Red Hawks in his zone. Robinson, 3. Yes! After the second 3 ball for Ashley Robinson, your scoreboard reads 45-41.
They've had that a couple times when they go to the inside, through the middle, and then back to the weak side. That's wide open against their zone defense. The skip pass takes too long, but when you go through the middle.
There's a 10-second call on Christie. Good job by Robinson. And the Regina fans are going wild.
This is where composure comes into the game.
Schober in the corner. Carter gets a hand on the ball, but there's Quay.
Tried to double team in the corner that time and just took him out of it a little bit.
Parker out muscles Schober to the board. With a Stoner riding the hip of Parker all the way down. Oh, baby!
Where did that come from?
Oh, man!
I'll bet her brother taught her that, or maybe Larry or Dad.
Oh.
You know, Andy Newstom didn't teach her that. He couldn't get it around him.
Andy would be laughing as hard as we are. Oh, the crowd is still buzzing on that, but more importantly, it gives Naperville Central a 6-point lead. 25 for Parker. Changing defenses a little bit here. Good job by Peters.
And that is fine nicely outside. They need to get her through the middle and then back to the outside.
Possession will go to Regina Dominican. Clarice Jones will come back in. She has 4 personal fouls.
Well, Clarice is an important offensive part of this team.
She's been quiet today. Has 1 3-pointer. I believe that was the first shot of the game, I believe.
Shot of the game.
They kick it out to Jones.
There it is.
Tracks it down. Robinson. Jones passed it up. Long arms from the freshman Carter. Stoner eyes it. Short. Schober keeps it alive. What a sequence here. Candace Parker has just picked up her 4th foul, and it comes at the 5:09 mark of the 4th quarter.
That's huge.
Mark it down. 5:09, 47-41. Parker playing with 4. She stays in. Schober. And is this on Peters, and will it be a 3-point attempt?
It was on the box out, probably on the shot.
Oh, they'll say it came after the shot, so
they're calling after.
Peters' 3rd foul. That's the 5th team foul on Naperville Central. Cover up on Robinson. We've seemed like we've been at this end of the floor a long time, and then it's an unforced turnover.
And those are the turnovers that really hurt you.
Timeout on the floor. Three-inch junior All-American Candace Parker.
Jenny Schober's all over. She does a spin dribble, comes back, behind the back. Pretty easy, isn't it?
Oh, man. Wow. Wow. I'll tell you what, Darryl, that is the finest individual play I've ever seen from a female basketball player. Right there. I don't care what level, that is the finest I personally have seen.
She's one of the most fluid players I've ever seen at her age in the entire United States. I mean, she can just do it all.
You saw the foul situation there. Parker with 4, Jones with 4 on the other side. 2 for Parker on the feed for Christie.
And Naperville's going back into a zone-type defense now a little bit. With Candace just kind of roaming in the middle. It's kind of a matchup situation. Try and just keep her out of foul trouble.
Schober looks into the eyes of Parker. Parker will have to let her go for the reverse. Stoner, plenty of time. Quay followed by Christie, who takes a chop in the mouth.
Right in the nose.
Nothing either player could do about that. But on the floor is one tough young lady. That is a hockey player right there. That is what some people consider to be her primary sport. Let's take a look.
Well, she's going up against Christina Quay, too. That was on the backlash there. Inadvertent.
It's like it almost caught her in the chin and neck area.
Right, when she came back down.
caught up in all of that is Chrissy's 4th foul. She has 4. Parker has 4. I have a feeling she's gotten hit in that part of the face a few times playing hockey.
Probably.
4 fouls for Chrissy, 4 fouls for Parker.
Timeout, Naperville Central.
Way at the line. She'll have the second of 2 free throws. Andy Nussbaum will take a timeout for Naperville Central. And again, for those of you that were not with us this week, he gets 3 timeouts. We'll step aside. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Redbird Arena. We come to you high atop Redbird Arena, and here you are looking down the middle of the big Redbird here at Illinois State University, the host of the girls single A and double A tournament. And with about 4 minutes left here in the 4th quarter, Naperville Central, top-ranked team in the state, 7th in the nation, 2nd in the Midwest, leads it by 8. Let's go down and check in with Lisa Prati.
I have all the IHSA officials here all flagging down the cameraman. This is Ranley Laveras. He is the IHSA official and has been for the past 29 years. You aren't actually calling the tournament, but you guys come down to support the officials.
Right. We all belong to the same group, and we come down here every year, whether we're working on the floor or as spectators, and we just like to help each other out. Of course, the game is much easier to officiate from a chair than it is on the floor, but we all enjoy doing it, and we are here supporting our other fellow officials.
So it's a better view from here?
Exactly, very much so.
So I have to ask you this question, though. With the officials that are on the court right now, do you give them any feedback after the game on some of the calls?
Yeah, we'll talk to them just to tell them what we saw from our perspective against what they saw, and we'll just tell them that this happened and we thought this happened, and then they'll take it from there.
Take it with a grain of salt, right?
Oh yeah, always. We are our worst critics and our best critics, but everybody is usually trying to support each other all the time.
And you have how many officials here just surrounding you in this area?
Well, I think there's about 15 of us here. I just counted them before. There's a couple down the floor. There's 2 to the left of us. It's a busman's holiday. We come down here just to enjoy the games.
I see Randy every single year that we cover the state tournament for the girls. He does a great job, and so do the rest of these officials. Got to give them a lot of credit. Back to you, Dave.
For them here in the final 3 minutes after Parker nails her 29th point and Ashley Robinson bangs home her 3rd three-pointer, giving her 11. We sit at that 6-point difference. Now that's the magic number because that's the last time these 2 teams played. Your final score was 52-46, Naperville Central. So no real surprise to the tightness of this game. Parker looks over the top. Carter, who does not play like a freshman, will shoot a couple of free throws.
Naperville's trying to spread them out a little bit and see if they can get some isolation plays inside, which is what you want to do. You want to try to go to the free throw line. It's interesting, all those officials, you notice how close to the floor they're sitting. They give them those seats close to the floor because Randy and Sal Vasta and all those guys are sitting up there, Joe Fritsch, and they need to get close so they can see the play a little easier. They do a great job. They do a lot of officiating, and not only do they do a lot of officiating, but they're interested in keeping, preserving the game the way it should be played.
Carter, a 68% free throw shooter. 8 points for Erica. She had 10 last night in the quarterfinals.
I think those guys will be watching the replays.
Indeed.
Oh boy. Never get a call anymore.
Yeah, you have cooked yourself, Mr. Kip.
Those are good guys, though.
Can't wait too long. Robinson's been on fire.
That was a huge shot right there.
And that was halfway home. Now Hudson will have to deal with Stoner. A little bit too much for Glanz to handle. With an 8-point lead, Andy Nussbaum has the luxury of having Candace Parker on the bench. Again, she has 4 fouls. Rachel Chrissy has 4. She's still on the floor for Naperville Central.
I don't think she'll be there very long, but he's got her out right now.
Quay, the catch, the easy score. It is 17 points for Christina Quay. 53-47. Naperville Central to take the timeout. $1:50 to play in this one, 53-47. Again, a reminder, coming up tonight at 6:30 will be the consolation game that will match Belleville-Althoff. They're happy to be here. You heard Coach Don Hay to talk about that between games. They'll be playing the third place game against the loser of this one. Then around 8 o'clock or so, we'll get started with the state championship game. We will crown the 2003 Girls AA State Basketball Champion. They will join Chicago Hope as the girls champions this year. Fenwick is already in that game by virtue of their 26-point win earlier today, and we have 1:50 to decide who will be their opponent.
You know, a lot of states don't have that third place game, but I've played in it 3 times, and it's really satisfying for girls to get to come back and play, especially after you've lost, and you get to play with a lot more, well, it's just a sense of getting on the floor and getting things back to normal from what they were when you lost that game. It's heartbreaking to lose, not to get into the finals, but you get a chance to come back and play, so it takes your mind off that situation. And I commend the IHSA for having that game, where a lot of other states, they don't even play that.
That game will take place at 6:30 tonight, and that's when our coverage of the girls tournament will resume. There's results from earlier today. Dominating performance by Fenwick, and Aaron Lawless dominating as well. 34 points and 9 rebounds for Lawless. You're looking at Candace Parker's numbers in this game, 29 points and 10 rebounds.
All right, well, Andy had to take that time out to get Candace back in the game. She can just relieve all the pressure bringing the ball up the floor.
She's being guarded by Jones, who also has 4 fouls.
Yeah, there was 2 of them out there on her that time.
Looking to use some clock, spread the floor.
Hey, Regina's got a foul to give here, so they can go after the ball real tough without Naperville getting to the free throw line.
Boy, they defend so tightly. Parker would like to just keep it going on the outside. That's just the 16th foul. Next one, of course, we will start shooting.
Well, it's nice to have fouls to give when you're ahead, but when you're behind, you got to give those fouls so that you can get the other team the free throw line and hope they miss. Give you a chance to get back in the ball game.
Stoner, she was waiting for that foul. She had that right arm hooked and just couldn't get the whistle.
I have a coach at our school, Gaston Freeman, who's an all-star coach. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he would like to see you just have the option of taking the ball out of bounds here instead of slowing the game down. But I'm the opposite. I think if you're behind, you'd like to have a chance to try to catch up. And that's why they put the super bonus in, because they give you 2 free throws, take away the possibilities.
And that's one of the reasons the rule is the way it is. 6-point difference, 110. Here come the Panthers.
There it is, wide open speed set.
Got it! That takes forever to come down, but it comes straight through. The 4th three-pointer of this game from Ashley Robinson has made it 53-50 with just a tick under 60 seconds to play.
Can you say Ashley Robinson? That's what I was asking at the start of the half.
That's as clean as they come, bottoming it out.
I've seen that up very close myself.
Walks off like nothing has happened. Well, something will happen here in the final minute. Regina Dominican trailing by double digits in the 2nd and 3rd quarters. Right back here. Talk about great teams playing in great places like here at Normal. Well, how about in January? Great teams playing up at Willowbrook High School. This past January, 6 of the Elite 8 teams played in the McDonald's Shootout. And among the teams invited from all across the Midwest, Kokomo, Indiana, also a team that played in that. And they are playing tonight for the state title of Indiana in Indianapolis. So you talk about a place where you can get great girls basketball all together at one time. It happens every year, not just this year, every year at Willowbrook High School over Martin Luther King weekend.
I didn't see Maine West on that graphic. We played in that. It's awesome for the kids.
And here comes full court pressure. A 3-point difference. Carter struggling. She needs time. She gets it.
Okay, now she's a freshman, and she needs to be reminded that she can run that baseline because that shot went in. She doesn't have to stand in one spot to throw the ball in bounds. She hardly moved on that.
Naperville Central is out of timeouts. And again, here in the state tournament with the television coverage, each coach is only allowed 3 full timeouts. There's not the normal timeout situation of 4 fulls and 2 30s. Let's listen inside the Regina Dominican huddle.
Double team, no foul. 20 or 3, we're going green right away. Get possession of the ball, score. We got a timeout left if we need it. They have none, but the possession arrow is theirs. All right? Get a 5 down.
Get her the ball, then spread. Okay? We're in man-to-man when they get the ball. We have no timeouts. Hey, after your screen, roll this way. Okay? Your screen, go.
You know what I like, Daryl? I like both coaches just inform their players the situation. Jim Russo says possession arrow this way. You know, this is when we want to foul. They don't have any timeouts left. We have one. The players are all given that information. Good job by both coaches.
Well, here's the situation. Andy has to tell his players that they don't have to throw the ball away, and if there's a jump ball, they get the ball back. That's real important to know where your possession is. You don't have to call a timeout. You just don't lose the ball.
And they get it to the person they want to have. Parker picks up the dribble just in time. That's not the person they wanted to foul. You heard Jim Russo said 3 or 20. That would be Rachel Chrissy or Tiffany Hudson that they would want to put at the free throw line. Not Parker, who is a 68% free throw shooter. She's 3 of 3 from the line today.
Right. And Jim also said if they call green, they want to foul. That's their signal to take a foul.
Front end of a 1-and-1 gives Parker 30 points, makes it momentarily a 2-possession game, a 4-point difference.
I think he wanted to wait a little longer to try and foul. Maybe get a double team and steal the ball or a turnover.
2 big free throws from Parker.
There's still plenty of time in this ballgame.
Hudson will meet Stoner. Chrissy jumps out on Robinson. They do not want to give her a look. Feed to Quay. They have to let her go. Parker fouled by Robinson.
That was a huge miss inside.
That ball just sat on the rim. Parker back to the free throw line. Still 1-and-1 free throw situation.
You know, this is a big free throw. She makes both of them, it's more than a 2-possession game. Still a 2-possession game.
Trying to free up Robinson again. They can go 2 first before the 3.
Right, they don't have to have the 3. And
Quay misses on one, gets the other. They will play on.
They have no timeouts.
Well, they show 1 timeout remaining. Possession to Naperville Central.
Okay, that possession arrow, that is a big, big thing.
A 3-point difference underneath 10 seconds left. 1 timeout left for Regina.
And Clarice Jones fouls out, but there wasn't much she could do. She got caught, the only one on Parker, and she had to do it quickly.
And now it's 2 free throws for the junior.
So we talked about that possession arrow, and that's one thing you want to tell your players, because a jump ball, just like that situation, you get it back, so you don't have to panic and try to throw it out of that double team.
There's your possession. Should we get a quick tie-up here in the last 10 seconds, it would go to Regina Dominican. See, the Redhawks have cleared the lane. Still sitting at a 2-possession game. It would have to be 2 quick possessions.
There's 2 people right here that Andy should have his kids looking for. There should be one of them standing right next to Ashley Robinson and one right next to Schober. That's their 3-point shooters.
They have to hurry now. There it is, Chrissy in the face of Robinson.
Timeout.
And followed by Schober. They can't get the timeout in time. And Naperville Central comes away with the 56-54 win. And it will be Naperville Central against Fenwick. Number 1 versus number 2 in your state championship game this evening. By the narrowest of margins, Regina Dominican comes up just short. And really, Regina did nearly everything they had to do to make it happen for them at the end, but in the end, it was a little bit too much, or maybe a lot too much. Candace Parker, who finishes with 32 points.
Well, it wasn't really the end of the game that cost Regina. It was those 2 3-point shots in that short span right at the end of the half, and that was the difference in this ballgame.
You'll recall that at the end of the half, it was a 6-point difference with Erica Carter knocked down a 3 from the corner, and then on the next trip down, Rachel Chrissy drilled a 3, went from 6 to 12. And we will go to our sideline reporter, Lisa Prati. Lisa.
Coach Newsbaum, you knew this game was going to be intense from the beginning, because when you played them in the beginning of the year, Naperville Central won by 6, but probably didn't anticipate it this close.
Well, I knew Regina was going to be tough. You know, they play what? Top 10 teams like every week. And so their record is very deceiving, and their tournament run is just a little bit what they're all about with, you know, Jim Russo does a great job with those kids. We knew they were going to fight us tooth and nail. We saw them play Fenwick the second time, and Fenwick only beat them by 2 after beating them by, I don't know, 15 the first time. So we knew it was going to be tough. We are very happy to come out of here with a win.
Well, Candace Parker was in foul trouble in the first half, and you said you were going to talk to her at halftime, and she came out, and she obviously did a better job.
Well, I told her I was 65 going in the locker room, and I'd like to be 45 coming out. So we're just very pleased. We did the things that we had to win. I don't know how many points Candace had, but I know it was a lot. So we're going to be happy for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to get ready for another one.
Well, this is what a majority of the people had predicted, Naperville Central against Fenwick. Talk a little bit about what you anticipate in tonight's championship game.
Well, the last 3 times we've played Fenwick have been overtime games. You know, one of them was before either Candace or Aaron got to Naperville Central or Fenwick. But we've had 2 classic games the last 2 years, and this is what the tournament's all about. It's a classic matchup between 2 very good teams, and we'll play hard and have fun.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Also joining me is the Country Insurance Player of the Game, none other than Candace Parker herself. And Candace actually finished with 32 points and 11 rebounds in this game. And you, in playing Regina in that first game to begin with, well, you scored 38 points, so you knew you had to come out strong because you only won that game by 6 in the beginning of the season.
Well, yeah, our goal this game was to play good, tough defense and, you know, deny Christina the ball and not let her catch it down low, you know, get out on the shooters. We struggled with that at the beginning, but I think, you know, we won, so, you know, everything.
Well, with the fact that you were in foul trouble in that first half, you did have your players, though, they stepped up in that first half and did a great job.
Erica and Rachel hit the 2 biggest shots, I swear. Erica hit a 3 from the corner, and then Rachel came down and drained one, you know, at the end of the first half. So, I mean, the team stepped up huge.
Well, it's a matchup that everybody has been looking forward to. Aaron Lawless against Candace Parker going into the championship game.
That's Naperville Central versus Fenwick. You know, I mean, it's not one team, or it's not one player or 2 players. It's going to be Naperville Central versus Fenwick.
Thanks, Candace. Congratulations. She is a Country Insurance Player of the Game and definitely a class act. Back to you, Dave.
32 points matches the jersey number for Candace Parker, 32 on her jersey. And I'll tell you what, Darryl, if we can set up a championship game as perfect as this, I don't think we could do any better than what we'll see tonight. You will have the number 1 and number 2 teams in the state. You will have the top 2 players in the state. You will have Aaron Lawless, you'll have Candace Parker, and we'll all be looking forward to that later on this evening. In fact, we'll have more conversation about that in just a bit. But first, we'll take a little bit of a break, catch our breath, and come back after these words from your local station. Naperville Central gets the best of Regina Dominican and moves on to the state championship ball game. With Darryl Kipp, I'm Dave Bernhardt, and again we look back at this ball game, but let's look momentarily forward to tonight's matchup. One thing I think that could be a factor tonight, Darrell, the fatigue factor. You're talking about Naperville Central now just completing a rigorous ball game. Fenwick got a couple extra hours rest, plus they're able to rest a few players. How much of a factor could that be?
It could be a little factor, but I think Naperville's quality enough to be in the game. And they only play 5 people most of the time anyway, so they're used to playing a full game. We played a state tournament one year, played only 5 players against Marshall the entire game, so it can be done.
All right, there you go. Well, let's take a look back at some of the highlights of this ball game. A 2-point game, and you get great players on the floor. And again, we've talked about her all night long, all tournament long, Candace Parker.
Yeah, Candace Parker is just good. I mean, she does everything. I think you really got to look for the coach's key to the game. You got to look at Tiffany Hudson. Naperville's got some awful tough players, but Jenny Stoner puts so much pressure on your point guard. And Tiffany Hudson had very few turnovers in the game. She got the ball where it had to be. She handled the pressure, and that made all the difference. The other kids from Naperville were able to step up and make the shots.
There's Hudson finishing it off on the assist from Parker, and highlight that may be replayed over and yet over again in the annals of Illinois high school girls basketball history, and that is one sweet play there from Candace Parker, and she'll get a chance to go up and match it up with Aaron Lawless and Fenwick here coming up in the state championship ball game. What a battle that will be. Lawless finished with 34 points today with the win over Belleville-Altoff, 80-54, and Parker comes up with 32 here. Well, the stage is set. The third place game is already set. We'll be back with you at 6:30 tonight for our state tournament action. This copyrighted broadcast is presented for the exclusive entertainment and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use of this program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association and cost broadcast sales is strictly prohibited.